So right now, I'm just trying to figure out why you ended up with errors in your test library.
Well, I have one, okay, right there. Okay, the error is right here, public void test create tombstone. I didn't remember that being in our control class.
Well, and I commented it out. But no, I think, let's see. That was in character control test. And I'm not sure that you pull everything right, because I've commented everything out except our test average health. I commented all of that out just so we could run just that test on that one method. I don't know why when you pulled it, were you in the Susan branch when you pulled it?
Yes. Pull it again.
Let me push what I got here and make sure that everything that I have is pushed up. Commit everything. Oh, there's a lot of commits here. Okay. Ton of commits. All right, let's commit them all.
I thought we
had to, but push everything up. Okay. We should be able to pull Susan and have everything that that's weird. I sure hope that because if that didn't get pushed and you submitted all that.
Well, no, because I submitted the link on the individual assignment. We didn't have to zip it and send that zip file.
Yeah, but the link was to an older commit, I think.
I think the link's just to my branch.
Yeah. How everything works, but so did you pull it again?
Yes, no errors now.
All right. So at least we're all on the same page.
So we're going to work on the control class then? Control character.
Yeah, Kaden, were you going to pull her branch too?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that.
So we could kind of. So we're going to go to the control packages.
So Oregon Trail exceptions, I have that package now.
Okay. And then you're going to create a character control exception. Create a class file, character control exception.
Like that? Can you see what I'm doing?
Yeah, but it's a class, so it should begin with a capital C.
Oh,
Any class file should begin with a capital letter. All right.
It's the branch is Susan, not Oregon Susan, right? Or Origin Susan.
Well, if you're trying to switch to her branch,
Yeah.
after you first just pulled it, you're gonna have to kind of. Well, were you in her branch when you pulled it? Were
No,
you
I
in
was
your?
in Caden.
Okay, well, it may have merged her branch into your branch.
No.
Anyway, go to when you switch to the branch, switch to Origin Susan the first time, because it won't. It probably won't let you switch to a local copy if you just pulled the new one down. So
Okay, I can see a little bit more on that one.
okay,
I
so
think that's probably it.
yeah. Um, so character control. So when you look at the tests anymore, character control class.
it's
Quit which functions. Okay, like character health. We have if character ID is less than 1 and greater than 5, return -1. So that's
what are we looking at?
well, I'm in character control.
Oh, okay.
But my computer is just so frustrating because it just keeps stalling.
On this character control, oh, I'm on the character control test. I want to be in that, do I? Okay.
Okay.
I was on the, yeah, I was on the test. Character control. Okay. Character.
Okay. So
I need to get the other computer up here so I can.
so yeah, go back to the exception class you're creating. What are you doing?
I was trying to make it so I could see the instructions.
Okay. Well,
You can just flip the screen.
I just wanted to see if the
It's right there.
okay, it does. You need to, on the public class character control exception,
Yes.
you need to add extends exception.
To the exception here.
Yeah, right there you put in extends, and then you're going to put exception with a capital E.
Oh,
There's exception. Is that like a built-in class that's
It's a
automatically in
built-in
Java?
except yeah, it's a built-in class. So then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to inside the in between the opening and closing the squirrely braces, you're going to right click and do the insert source, because you need to create some overloaded constructors. Constructors
I don't
that
know
will,
what it means by overloaded instructors.
well, if there exists, and there is a default constructor, because all classes are technically an extension of the Java class. But so if there's an existing constructor, overloading means that you can create other constructors, but each constructor needs to have a different signature. So you have a constructor with the empty parentheses. Then you can have additional constructors that receive parameters. It'll be obvious. Well, I guess that's easy for me to say. Just right click on there, right where it is right now, and do insert code and constructor. Now it's going to give you a bunch of options. And you see each one of those is a possible override. Did you see each one of them has a different signature?
Yeah.
All right. So those are your overriding constructors. So depending on how many and what types of parameters you pass, it will call a constructor that matches the parameters type and number that you pass to it. Is that understandable?
I don't know, but I got them all.
Okay. Like, for example, the second one down takes a message, string message.
Yeah.
And that's the one that we'll be using most, so that we can pass a error message to the exception when we create the exception class. So I think that is
Now the rest of it talks about the map control stuff, and
yeah, it's just as an example.
I know it would just
So
be easier if we were following what the example was.
well, yeah, basically, can you see, instead of map control,
Okay, so now, and so I'm opening, instead of map control, I'm opening character control.
what do you say? Yeah. Okay, so we've gone through there. So now you're going to go to map control.
No, character control.
Yeah, well, all right, yeah. Go to the control class that we are manipulating. Okay.
Yeah.
And you see where it says in our control class, return -1. Let's see, first of all, in the what happened to our create character? I guess, dang. I guess our create character.
We moved it to the other menu, I think. The trail menu where we create all that stuff.
Yeah.
Trail, was it the trail control or was it the other one?
No, it was the there is a view that it's called choose characters view. And I'm wondering if all of that code see, I don't know where all of these character control classes are supposed to be. They're supposed to just come into existence and go out of existence, or
What do you mean?
Uh.
All these character controls. How many do
well,
we have?
all of these control classes. Because, for example, we've created we've created classes. We've created classes. We've created a game, and then when we've created classes for a character array, inventory control array, and I assume that character, game, inventory item. We created a main character class, an array of inventory item class, an array of character classes. We were supposed to have created a map class. All of those are supposed to be a player, profession. All of those things are supposed to be kind of stored somewhere in a game class that's created in the main menu. And I don't know whether, I don't know the character control classes, whether you're just supposed to create one in your functions here, and because like we could put all the code from that character class, from that the set character names. We could put all that code back into the character control class, and then just as part of your do action, there's not a way to pass that value that we got to the character control class. So let's just change what there's two functions in there, each of them with some return values. So that return minus and the calculate character health.
Yeah.
So in that return -1, we can replace it with throw new map and throw new character control exception. And in the parentheses, we can put in some kind of an error message.
So I'm at the, so that's the bottom of page 4, right?
I guess that's 4. Yes, bottom of page 4. So you want to replace that return -1 with an exception by throwing the exception using that format. Only you're going to change map control to character control. And then we're going to do the message where we basically say, yeah, character ID, a character ID. Something about an invalid character ID, and you can print out the character ID and say character ID must be between 1 and 5. So throw new character control exception. You're going to have to import the exception factor, Oregon and trail dot exception dot asterisk in your imports, because it's not going to. Dot exceptions dot asterisk. Okay, so now that it can throw that character control.
So I got invalid character ID, and I need to add something to that.
Yeah, you can put in put your cursor inside the parenthesis there, the quotation mark.
Inside the quotation mark, okay.
Yeah, all right, and hit enter. Did you hit enter?
No.
Okay, and then before the parentheses there, you're going to type character ID. You're going to print out the value of the character ID.
Is it lowercase or uppercase?
It's right there above you, character ID, lowercase ID. Plus then inside that set of parentheses there.
Quotation marks?
Yeah, quotation marks, you say must be between 1 and 5. Okay. And now there's 2 other places where it's returning a value.
Return 0?
Yeah.
Right here?
We can remove both of those return values. And where it says public, when the thing is declared as public int, go ahead and delete that return 0 and the one down below it. Okay, so now you're not returning any values. Delete it. Yeah. So go up to your method declaration where it says public int calc character health.
Right here?
Yeah. And change that int to void.
Now, I have an error here. Unreported exception, character control exception must be caught or declared to be thrown.
Right. That's the next step.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
I see on page 5, it says public static int moved character to location. Is that what we're
Right.
doing now?
That's what we're doing. Well, we just did the remove the thing, so we're now moving on to this.
Yeah.
So the next thing we have to do is add that throws map control exception. You see, as up there as part of the
Well, we put void in there. Are we supposed to have void
what's
in
that?
there? I just put void
Yeah.
in there.
Void's in there.
Yeah, that's supposed to be there.
Yeah, but then we need to go to
We don't put static or int.
no. We
Okay.
just need to go to um, we need to go to just before the opening curly brace of that call.
Right there.
No, up. No, up. When the same line you were on.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right there. And hit enter. Why do I put it clear over there? Yeah, you want to.
That's the opening one.
I know.
Well, I want to be after that, don't I?
No, you do not.
Oh.
This is part of your signature.
Oh,
So everything is in your signature needs to come before that opening brace.
yeah.
So tab it over a couple more times. And then you can say throws. Base. Character control exception. That should make that red dot disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, do you guys understand what, was Caden gone?
Oh, he's asking me to invite him back.
Okay.
Okay.
We've been gone for like 4 minutes. Okay.
There he is.
Hey, yeah, I saw the invitation on my phone and I deleted the notification, but then it kicked me out of the call.
Uh-oh.
Okay. All right. So So what we've done in Sue's screen, so we've just worked on the one method, and right now I don't think anything actually calls that method.
Okay. The calculate character health method.
Isn't somewhere we can check health, but I don't think that's been written yet, right?
Yeah, we did that one for the that's called from the trail menu. I think that's down further in this class. So, but okay, so just so everybody knows what we did and why we did it. Before, we were returning a -1 to show an error condition. And then we were returning a 0 to indicate that it had completed accurately. So now we are using the exception handling capabilities of Java to basically do the same thing. And so in place of...
Sorry, could you repeat that? You were cutting out a lot there.
Okay.
What you instead of the -1s and 0s, what did you do instead?
Okay, we added that. Where you see the yellow, where she's highlighted in yellow, that is we're throwing an exception. We're using the exception handling capability of Java. So we detected an error condition. So we throw this is what we call a runtime error, because the thing compiles, but then bad data is passed to a method and creates a runtime error. So this is what we call a runtime error, and we're catching it using this exception. And then we're throwing it.
Sounds like a ball game.
Yeah, we catch the section, and we throw the exception. Basically, what it means is we're passing it up the chain, and then at some point it's got to handle it. Well, right now I say there's no chain because this isn't called from anywhere. So, but the fact that we replace that, we no longer have to return an integer, because we were only doing that to indicate an error. So instead, we're throwing in an exception to indicate an error. So we removed those two return zeros. And now that we're not returning anything, instead of the signature being public int, it's now public void, because it returns nothing. It doesn't return any value. Okay. But you can't just throw the exception. You can't just throw the exception without the class, the method knowing that it has that capability. So that's why we had to add to the signature throws character control exception.
Okay.
That part there. So we added that to the method signature. Okay.
All right.
So, but we do have one down here that we created that we can call but okay. Yes, indeed. Okay, so we can go down to public int average character health. That one is being called from somewhere. So we can then follow that one up the chain. So what we need to do is, are you, trying to get back to see where you're at, Sue. Are you down where it says public in average character health?
Yes, line 51.
Oh, yeah. Line 51?
Public and average character health.
Because on my screen it's on line 48. Oh,
We didn't
that's
add
because,
extra character.
yeah, that's because we did the exception. That's right. Okay, so if you look at in the if statement there, we have system.out print line values not valid and a return -1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right here.
right where your cursor is. There's those two lines there, because there again we are checking to make sure that the health value is greater than 0 and less than 100. So we're going to eliminate those two lines. And we're going to say throw character control.
You don't need new.
Yeah, throw new character control exception. And inside the parentheses, you're going to put in a message that says put character health is, and then outside the parentheses, you're going to put a plus sign, space plus, and put character.get health. Open and close parentheses. And go outside those parentheses and hit enter. And tab over a few spaces. Couple more. And say plus, and then open, close parentheses. Or did you already put the plus?
Nope. Open and close quotations.
Should be between 0 and 100. Then go out and put a semicolon after that.
Okay, we still got an error here.
Yeah. Unreported. What? What,
We
put
didn't
the
have to
thing,
put extension anywhere.
what's that?
We didn't have to
Oh,
put it
yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that.
up here. Public int, average health characters, array, characters.
Yeah, okay. Right there where your cursor was, right there. Put your cursor there and hit enter. And tab over a number of times. And then type throws. New. Throws new. No, not new. Just throws character control exception. You're not creating a new. You're not. You're not instantiating there. You're just declaring that. You're missing the L. You're missing the A in character. Okay. So all of our red balls gone now?
Yeah.
So why aren't you using the try catch statement?
Because this isn't the place we're going to put it.
Where do you put that?
That will go up in the main program.
Okay.
So, but now we have to go to the program that called this, which is the trail menu view. So you need to look into the trail menu view.
Trail.
So in the trail menu view, number 9 down to check health.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I go character control equals new character control. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is where we're going to have to do that, where we're going to have to propagate it up one more level.
And I got an error there too.
Where?
Line 142.
Int average?
Yeah.
Int average equals equals character control dot average character. Let me see what you.
Unreported exception, character control exception must be caught or declared to be thrown.
Yes, ma'am. That's what we're. That's because we've added that stuff to that other code. So now that error is showing up here. So now we have to pass that exception on. So, okay, so we've done that. And so now we're into the thing, like where it says move actors to starting location. So he's calling that other thing that throws the exception.
Where are we at?
So, I'm right now at the bottom of page 6, because this is the analog to what we're going to be doing. Okay, but this one here, it's also passing the return value through. So I think he's going to make that one. I think he's going to make that one void and take out the returns. If return value, he's just going to straight. Okay, so he didn't do that. He just doing the return value, and then he has to add to that. And I don't think we're. I think check health. I don't think we're passing anything. That's all just happened there. So in that check health where you have the error, you're just going to have to tell it can pass that exception on up the chain. So where it says private void check health.
Yeah.
Between the parentheses and the opening squiggly brace, you're going to want to hit enter again. And say throws base character control exception. Why is the red dot there? Oh, because this one doesn't have the, you haven't imported it into this. You haven't imported it into this one, so you need to import Oregon Trail, trail.exceptions, .asterisk. Okay, so now you should not have any more boobles. What's that? This dot check health. Unreported control exception must be caught or declared to be thrown. Okay, so you're going to have to throw it also in the do action. So come up to where it says do action. Right there.
Mm-hmm.
And in between the parentheses and that, you're going to hit the carriage return.
Right here?
The parentheses. Yeah, just like you did before. And we're doing that on all these basically so that when they get an exception, all they're going to do is just rethrow it. So the exception is going to actually occur down there in the what do you call it? The get character health. No, down there in the down in the character control, in the get character health. That's where the exception actually going to occur. But so it's going to throw it, and now the menu, the trail menu, is going to receive this exception, and it doesn't really know how to handle it, so it's just going to throw it again. And then that's going to go up to the do action, and it doesn't know how to handle it, so it's going to throw it again.
The do action is in the main class?
No, that's in the trail menu view.
Okay.
So then so you're going to type throws. character control. Okay. I'm still seeing a red bubble there. Oh. So we've run into a problem here. You see what it's telling us? Because we are overriding the do action in the view interface.
Oh, it won't throw a character control exception.
No, it won't. Well,
I thought it was just going up the chain.
well, yeah, but the chain has to the chain has to know what to do with it. And right here, because we've implemented this as an extension of the view class, and the view class implements the what do you call it? The view interface.
Yeah.
And so, and that's where your do action signature is defined. And we are overriding the do action signature. So, but the signature in the override function has to exactly match the signature in what you're implementing. So this is as far as we can propagate it. So my suggestion is that we back out of here. Take what you just put in out. Because they're having us implement these things, using these they're trying to teach us all the tricks. But the thing is that when we have all of these different specific, in order for this to work, that interface would have to be able to throw every one of those exceptions in the in the do action. So let's go on down to the case 9 where where the red dot is. And I think this is where we're going to have to use our try and catch statement. Because
it talked in the instructions somewhere about superclass and stuff, and somewhere I think it talked about.
Okay, so here it is, override do app. In the example game, the do action function in a view layer class calls the move. The do action function is the top of the calling hierarchy. Okay, so there we are. The do action. This is the bottom of page 8. So it says that do action is at the top of the calling hierarchy. So this is where just before the line that says this dot check health,
Mhm.
just
Press
before
enter
that
there?
line. What's that?
Press enter there.
Yeah. Just before that. Yeah. So above the map, above the this dot. Anyway, just above that one there, you're going to have to enter. You're going to put in try space opening squiggly brace. And then after that line, you're going to put the closing squiggly brace. No,
Whoa.
you've got too many closing squiggly braces. The closing squiggly brace needs to be after this dot check health, or this dot check health needs to be right where your cursor is. So you can either cut and paste that in between there. Yeah. Okay. All right. Then after that squiggly brace, you're going to need to do catch.
Underneath?
No, right next to this squirrely brace.
Curly brace.
Yeah. Well, I call it squirrely because that's somewhere between squiggly and curly.
Yeah, I know.
So then you're going to, in parentheses, you're going to write catch, and in parentheses,
Not lowercase, huh?
catch, lowercase catch, and then in parentheses, what is that, an opening parenthesis there?
No, it's a squirrely brace.
What is that squirrely brace from? Okay, so inside the parentheses, you're going to put character control exception, capital C, it's and then after that, it's still inside those parentheses. So inside parentheses, then you're going to put in like E. Okay, Kaden needs to be invited again.
Okay, what about our errors?
Yeah, we need to deal with them. We need a pair of squiggly braces after that catch character control exception. Put a opening squiggly brace right there, and then hit carriage return. Okay. And then this is where you're going to do system.out println. E dot and inside the parentheses from the print line, you're going to put me dot get message, not me, E dot get message, opening and close and parentheses. We're on the bottom of page 9. You see where we cut instead of
I'm at the bottom of page 8, but you keep going. Oh, let's see.
well, down at in page, it's actually it's that first code block at the top of page 9. This is what we're implementing. You see where it says try and catch.
Uh-huh.
Okay. For some reason they used ME. That kind of seems silly too. Catch me. The Java programmer's tradition is just to put a small e there. I mean, it can be anything. You're just naming you're just giving the exception a name. So you're going to
So I don't put I don't put the either, right? I do system out, print line, and then I don't put the E there, right?
No, the E goes inside the parentheses.
Okay.
So then you're going to E dot get message. Open and close parentheses. And then you're going to need to put a semicolon after there. So, does that make all of your bubbles go away?
On this file.
Okay. Okay. So, I think the next thing we're going to have to do is, I mean, there's no way we're going to so what we're going to need to do is like create a unit test program here for that view class and basically just test that one gosh. The problem is they they put these things, they tell us things that are like they should be so easy.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
So just pass it some parameters and stuff like that. Well, these things are so buried down in there that we have to find some kind of a way to pass those parameters. Like I said, the other one was able to create so let's see, on TrailView tools. So what you're going to need to do right now, like, is go to TrailView tools and do create update tests. And see if we can. Oh. Yeah, see if we can.
Trail control test?
No. You're going to go to the TrailView menu over there in the list. We're going to create a new test, a unit test. So you have to come over to the list in the list of files, and you're going to have to select the trail menu view. Maybe you need to hit save too to make that red ball go away.
The only red ball I have now is on the character control test.
That's probably because, yeah, that's because we've changed and added the exceptions handling in that character control. So that test is no longer valid. We'd have to recreate it. But we're not going to do that. We're going to try and do this trail menu view. So go up to the trail menu view.
Where, what do you mean? The menu?
Over on the list. Oh, no, over on the list of files. And it's in blue right now.
Yeah, but we're on that file.
Right click it. And then go down to tools. And then say create update tests. And that should be okay. I wish, however, I knew what it meant by. Okay, so then down to your test packages, you're going to have to hit the plus sign on the Oregon Trail view. And there's your trail menu test. But you might as well close the Oregon Trail.control package there in the tests. Yeah. What did you do? Oh, yeah. Okay. So now let's open that trail menu view test and see what kind of mods we're going to have to make to try and test it. Void test. This is not going to say,
Can't we just run the trail menu and put in bad values?
no, because those values that are happening are going to be those values that are happening are going to be from they're going to be inside the those are inside the health. So those are only going to be if somewhere we have a mistake in the program and they are storing away illegitimate values or something like that. We should never ever encounter this exception because this is not going to be I mean, any bad entries should be caught somewhere else. Character health is never input by the user.
Oh, right.
Character health is all under program control.
Yeah.
So this exception would only get thrown if we screwed up somewhere else in the programming. So, and the problem is here's this do action, public void test do action, and we could pass it a 9 to call that, but there's no way, it doesn't give us the, you know what, we could though. We could go to Oh, we could if my computer didn't hang every time I tried to change things. I am to the point where I'm thinking I'm almost going to have to put a fresh install of Windows and reinstall all of my programs, and this has become so jacked up that it's becoming impossible to use. But if you go into the go back into the Oregon Trail control test package, and go into our character control test that is now invalid. But okay, what we need to do is we need to copy everything below the system.out print line average character health. Oh, no, from there to there. Okay, copy all of that. Now let's go back to our trail menu view test. Okay. I think you're going to want to set string value equals 9.
Right here?
Yeah. Okay. And then put your cursor just to the right of the semicolon there on that same line and hit enter. And then copy everything that you just pasted over there.
You paste?
Yeah, paste. Okay, then you're going to have to go to the top here and import. Go to the top of this test package, and you're going to end up having to import Oregon.trail.character. Okay, and then scroll down. That should make that red dot go away, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then what you need to do now is you need to make sure that you see where we're setting the health 60, 80, 60, 40, 20.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but you know what? It's not going to help either. Because in that, in our control class in the average character health, we're passing a pointer to characters. I'm beginning to believe this is impossible to test. What's more, it's hopefully something that would never actually be encountered. So maybe we should just go to just call this one done and go to our inventory control class. Probably should have started with that one.
Why is this one? Well, character control is still invalid, but
What's that?
why is character control still invalid?
Well, because we've made all those changes to the
Yeah.
character control, but not any changes to the character control test class. So you would expect the test class to go invalid anytime you edit the class that it's dependent on.
Yeah.
So the main thing to do if you want to make that red dot go away is just delete that test class and we'll have to reconstruct it. But don't do that right now.
Okay.
But you see, all of this stuff, we're setting all of this stuff in this characters. Where is it? Can you scroll up in that test? I was trying to see where it is. Test, void test, do action. Okay, let's go back to it's the trail menu view, right? That's where that do action is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, game. All right, so where, scroll down. Scroll down, let's try and figure out where that character in that one action, when we're calling that, check health, okay. Check supplies. Oh, where are we doing that check health thing? Check. Scroll down further, it's like 9. Okay, check health. Okay, character control equals new character control. Characters equal game.get characters. Int average equals character control dot average character health. Can you scroll a little right a little bit so that I can okay.
I think we lost Caden again.
I see him.
I'm here.
Oh,
Um, just trying to see. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to work on that, testing that a little more later. I think we might have a little better luck with inventory control.
And that's testing. That's the test package.
Kind of.
No, go into inventory control in the Oregon.trail.control package,
Yeah.
$15 total, maybe.
so that when we do the in the buy supplies, we're doing a check there, and that check is for a value that is passed in. So this is one that we can test directly. Actually, we have two different exceptions that we could throw. I mean, we could throw the same exception, but with two different messages. One is that the inventory items what is that? The price is actually, there's probably three different messages we should show. One is that
There's not enough money.
not enough money.
Price is less than 0. Quantity is less than 0.
An inventory item is null. But actually, I guess in the first one, we could just put out one message and say,
Price has to be greater than 0.
price and quantity have to be greater than 0. And
An inventory item must exist.
yeah. Okay. So we're going to have to create a new exception class. So you're going to go to your exceptions folder and create new class, and it's going to be called inventory control exception.
Control what?
Inventory control?
Inventory item control
No,
exception?
just inventory control, because it's your inventory control class. This is the exception that goes with it.
Okay.
There we go. So inventory control exception. So you need to make it extends exception. And then in the
Is extend the superclass?
extend exception is the superclass, and it needs to be a capital E, because all classes begin with a capital letter. I'm beginning to sound just like myself at school. I say that 20 times a class.
Well, you didn't go to school today, so you can just,
Yeah, it's say it's cap. I say it's capitalized because, and everybody says because it's a class. So I've got my whole class trained to respond that way. Why is it capitalized? Because it's a class. Okay, so then inside the squiggly braces,
right here, is
you're
that good?
gonna, right, and then hit right click,
Oh, yeah.
insert code, clickety, 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 clickety. Boom. Now you got code. Okay. Now we can go back to inventory control.
So I'm good on page 3.
Yeah.
Inventory control.
Yeah, we're going to be in the inventory control, and we're going to be modifying the buy supplies.
Okay. We need to go over here.
What?
I need to go after the parentheses. Do I have to put
After
extend?
the, right. Extends? No. This is where you're going to want to put throws.
Oh.
Yeah, but hit a carriage return, so that ends up on another line, so that we're not. Yeah. Throws. And you're going to put inventory control exception. Okay. We don't have we haven't imported those yet. What happens if you right click on that? If you right click on inventory control exception and hit fix imports, does it find the, yes, it did. So that automatically added your import.
Yep.
Okay. So now where's the closing squiggly brace for return? Oh, we just scrolled over, I think. Yeah. Okay. I think we might just want to do this as 3 different, just create 3 different if statements and throw 3 separate messages. What you think?
Okay. So let's
I
do
think
another
it
one.
I think it would make you guys look really smart.
I think that might be a problem. I don't want to misrepresent myself.
Okay. So in place of the return -1, you're going to say throw new inventory control exception. And put in price must be greater than 0. All right, you can do. Okay. All right, then go down to the square.
Can I put and quantity?
No, I'm thinking of just dividing that if statement into 3 different if statements and throw a different message for each one. So go down to the squiggly brace below there.
Right here?
Yeah, and hit enter. And then say if, and put the open close parentheses. Now just cut the quantity less than 0 from that up there before in the if statement above. Just cut that out of there and paste it inside the if. And then put a open and close, put in the put a squiggly brace and hit enter. And then just copy the throw new inventory control exception. Okay, I would just suggest that you cut and paste, but I was going to suggest you cut and paste and just change the message in the parentheses. But so now you can put in quantity must be greater than 0. Of course, we're only entering. So then this inventory item equals no. This is going to be another situation that we can't really test, but add another if statement. And then copy the inventory item equals null.
Cut it, right?
Cut it, yep. Paste it. Okay. And then open and close braces and throw another exception. Put the semicolon at the end, and then
Oh, then what about too much money or?
what's that? Where it says return 9999?
Yeah.
Replace that with throw new inventory control exception. That's why cut and paste works so better. Missing the P in exception and made a
I'll take
capital
care of
O.
it. Take care.
Okay. Okay. All right, then just put in there like you have insufficient funds. Okay. Then you can remove that return -1 and remove the return 0. And then we've got a bubble somewhere. We got a red dot there. Throw new. No semicolon. Okay.
Now we got one down here.
Missing return statement. Yeah. So we just got to go up and turn it to void.
This one?
Yep. Now that makes the red bubble go away. Now we should have, okay, save it. Now we should end up with a red dot with wherever it called it. Yeah, buy supplies view. Okay. So now we need to go into there. Because he doesn't know what to do with that exception that we just handed it. And I think this is going to have to be the top level thing. Because this is where we have the do action. Let's scroll down. Do action. Okay, so where it says, see the red dot by inventory control by supplies?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the one that you're going to have to surround with the try and the catch.
Put try there.
Sure.
Lowercase or uppercase?
Lowercase. It's a keyword, it's a reserved word, not a class or anything. So try, and then put a open squiggly race.
Right here?
Yeah. And then hit enter there. Okay, then next to your cloak squiggly race, you're going to put catch. And parentheses. Inventory control exception. Space E. And then outside the parentheses, okay, hit the squiggly brace. Hit enter. And here you're going to put system.out.println. And inside the parentheses, you're gonna, no, you're not gonna put quotation marks. You're gonna put E dot get message. Of course, it would have queued you if we had resolved the import. Open and close parentheses. And then a semicolon there. Now right click on that inventory control where it's inventory where it says exception there and hit fix imports. Okay. Now you're going to have to repeat that for all of your purchase type things. So you might want to just copy and paste that.
The catch statement.
Yeah, the try and the catch, everything from there down to the
Except for
squiggly
that
ways.
one, I don't want to
I
have
know.
to.
I know, but if you just copy it and paste it underneath each one of those lines, then you can just transfer the food and the value into the
Just this much or this much?
that much. Copy it.
Right here?
Yeah, paste it above there or below it. I would say below it because it might be, well, it doesn't matter. You're just gonna have to transfer the item name and the one, and then and so see where now you're saying oxen, you're gonna have to change that to food, and 20 is gonna have to be to 1. And then you can remove that line after you change oxen to food. Okay. You could cut that line and just pasted it. So now that line disappears. Okay. So then go down. You're gonna have to do that for 3, 4, 5, all the way through, I think 8 is.
Oops.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd paste them all before you then go through and.
Yeah. So it's right.
Yeah.
There.
I would put a carriage return between the squiggly brace and the try. Okay.
So this.
Hit enter, and then you following all this, Caden? You're still muted.
Kind of.
It's hard to. I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's hard
Hard to
to.
follow,
Unless
but
you're doing it.
yeah, exactly. But I figure I'll be able
Yeah.
to like go back through the video and kind of I don't know,
Okay.
do the same kind of thing for my
Well, this is the top of the chain where
Right
you know,
here
we're
too.
calling. What's that?
Do I do it here too?
No. No. Okay. So now you can just go down through and everywhere you still have that extra inventory control line, just cut it and paste it over the. So go, I think, yeah, you probably ought to go on up, I think, to item number 3 is the first place that it occurs, and work your way down maybe. Okay, item number 3 still has it, so if you cut that line and paste it over the top of the other one.
Kaden, do you have any school this week?
Yeah, I do.
I didn't know how many days they gave you off, or
Just Wednesday through Friday. So I'll have class tomorrow and
yeah, that's all I get off too. This one. I think I didn't. No, that's. What am I doing here?
You're
Alright,
gonna
oh,
cut that and you're
okay.
gonna cut that.
I had done it already. I mean, I thought I'd done wagon wheels already.
No, you did wagon. You did wagon wheels. This is axles, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So now you need to do the tongues.
No, that's it.
After no, yeah, tongues and medical supplies.
Okay, so X. And that's it?
I think so, because we're just calling that one routine, and it's called directly from here, and this is where they have to handle them. Oh,
Okay.
so hit the save and make sure that all the red dots go away.
I don't think I have any, do I?
Yeah, there's still the red dot over in the files list, but there's not in the file rexing. All right, well, let's see if we can run that.
Run the whole
Pilot.
thing from Oregon Trail or what?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that because then we're gonna have to work our way down to the buy supplies, and then we're gonna have to like enter some negative values or something. Okay, so hit 1. And let's be a farmer so that we have the least amount of money and it's easiest way to overexpend. Okay, so we'll be starting out with $400. Okay, so give it some names. Okay. Take a month to leave. All right. Before leaving Independence, you should buy equipment. Press enter to continue. Okay. Now, I think the first thing we want to do is let's buy some oxen. And let's try buying -2 oxen. Okay, scroll up and see if it threw the exception. No. So where did our exception go? Okay, well, it hasn't come back. So let's see what.
It's running. It's like hung up, I guess.
Yeah, it is. But at the very least, we should have got our exception. Looks to me like it didn't return from our.
Wait, do we have one here?
What? Where?
I don't think we have one for oxen. Do we? I don't think we put one here. Oh, no.
Purchase auction.
Right here it says try. Let's see, where am I? No, because it says try. But, well, that's in that.
And then where's the break statement?
It just says try and catch. Oh, that's the exception is in the other thing, right?
Where? The exception is then when we're actually.
It's in the other buy inventories control.
Let's see. You know what's happening? I think one thing is if we have a negative, if we enter negative value, I think we're catching it before we pass it to buy supplies. But if that were the case, we should hit that continue statement. So go back to the.
Go back to where?
Let's see where's our output. Is that thing still running?
Yes.
Okay, click on the output over there on the. Okay, and scroll down. Is it just?
Did not
Okay.
know what to do with that -2.
All right, well, put in +2 right now and see if it will continue on.
It's running faster.
Okay. What's that?
It's running faster now.
Yeah, well, so now it's waiting for the
The next input.
next. Yeah, so let's try and buy 50 wheels.
Wheels are 5.
Okay, scroll up and see if it threw the exception.
It did.
Yes. Okay. Well, the reason the negative numbers aren't working is that before we call, so let's take those checks for the negative numbers out. Go back to our
Right.
no, in the other program, the program that calls that. See, because buy supplies has never ever seen the negative numbers because we're catching them in the buy supplies view. See here where it says if selection is less than equal or less than 0, continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead and just take it out of the, or you can take it out or comment it out. Just clip it out of the first one and let's test to see, rerun it and test to see if it, so you've collected,
Well, we can put it right back in right now, right? Oxen.
yeah, but you only took part of the, yeah,
So if I put,
you only took the if out, you didn't take out the whole if control statement. So now you have continue inside of squirrely braces, and those can't be there. So we have to take the squirrely braces and the continue away. You had to take the whole if, yeah, construct. Okay. All right. Okay. So need to go stop the one below and then stop the one that's currently running and restart, recompile and restart.
can I just put like -4 in here right now?
No,
For one?
because it has to stop, restart, compile, and go through the whole thing again.
Okay.
Because the code that it's currently running doesn't have any of those changes you made.
Oh.
So you have to stop what's running, and then you have to hit the green arrow again so that it recompiles it with the changes that you made, which means we're now going to have to step through the whole game and stuff. So we get back to the, okay, now type the 1. Now put in the negative number. All right, scroll up to see if it threw the right exception.
Mm-hmm.
Quantity must be greater than 0. Probably ought to put a new line in those things to start those things. Maybe a couple of new lines or something, but whatever. So we're now getting those exceptions. So we can go ahead and take those negative numbers out of all of those and just handle them as exceptions.
That?
Yep.
Okay,
Okay. All right. So that did all of that. So then there's part 2. And this part 2 is assuming that somewhere we've used parse int and parse double. And I don't think we have used parse int or parse double.
we haven't. I don't know what the heck that is.
Well, we're just handling, in the things that we do, we're just handling them as characters. Let's see if there's a place we could implement those. Because
Maybe we should do part 2 tomorrow or something, because
all right, we can do that, but we got through a bunch of it. We got it working.
an hour later for Kate. So it's even easier for him right now then.
Yeah, is Kaden still with us, or?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay.
We're thinking about doing part 2 tomorrow because it's getting late, and I'm sure, I mean, it's an hour later for you.
Yeah, so what time are you thinking tomorrow?
What do you, well, I could be available by 8 o'clock your time instead of 9 tomorrow. I don't know what,
Yeah.
you have a class though, don't you?
No, not on Tuesdays. So I'm
Okay.
good. Yeah, that will work.
Is that good for you, or is that too
Yeah.
early?
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
Okay, you have any questions about what we did, or?
No, I'm just gonna have to kind of plow
If you-
through it.
If you have time to do that part 1 on whatever you're going to do before we meet tomorrow, then if you have any questions, then we could go over that first. You could go over that first, and then we could finish it up.
All right. I do have a lot of homework, accounting homework tomorrow, but I guess if I have time to take a look at it, I will.
Okay. Whatever works.
All right. Then we probably ought to. You probably ought to save what you did and push it up.
My concern about that is well, is that going to mess up?
What?
Let's see. Is that going to mess up before he grades my other thing? Maybe I need to.
Yeah, I've wondered about that. If you
Yeah.
change it, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grades. But we submit a zip file with exactly what we.
He didn't have a zip file on the individual project.
Really?
I probably should have, but it didn't mention to do it. It just said the link and tell what files you modified and stuff like that. And
Well, but didn't he ask for the link to the
yeah, he asked for the link for the repository.
Yeah, but nobody at one point for something he was asking for the
ID.
Yeah, the
Push ID. He asked that. That was on the group assignment.
Okay, because that would he could get that and find out exactly the state of it at that point. He could access that particular committal.
Maybe I better send him a message with that on it or something, because.
Yeah, you could email it to him or something, maybe the zip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you zip now, it's going to be what you did. So you